Hello and welcome to another episode of Enlightenment Through Understanding and Wisdom with your host, Jacob Strong. How's everybody doing today? Pretty good? Well, that's good. In today's show, I wanted to discuss what is love? Is it a, does it have physical attributes to it? Or what about the word peace? Is it just a word? Or is there physical attributes that come with using the word? And the reason that I chose to discuss this topic is I was at Lowe's the other day and I bought an orchid, and the lady asked me, she asked me if I had bought a blue orchid a couple weeks ago, and I said yes. And she said, "How do you keep them alive?" And my first response, the only thing that came to mind, which is always the correct response when you are not thinking of something, but you're asked a question and you immediately reply, that's usually an honest answer, because that's the first thing that your mind already knows to be true. So, of course, immediately my response was, you just have to give them lots of love. And she kind of looked at me puzzled. And then, of course, I realized at that point, um, I wasn't sure what that meant. Um, what is lots of love? Is it talking? Is it talking to the orchid? Well, yes. Bringing about a positive energy does help significantly, because you are elevating the energy in the room when you speak softly, when you speak out of kindness. You're elevating that energy, which does help all living things, but um, but also the plant needs needs more than just speaking in kind words. And so as I thought about it more, um, I realized orchids are very difficult to take care of. They require a lot of humidity. Um, they don't like to be drafty. Um, they don't like a lot of draft. It's very easy for them to get root rot. So you have to let the soil kind of dry out, but not too dry between waterings. And so as I thought about it more after I left, I realized that the response that I gave was correct. And that is, you have to give them lots of love. But what does that mean for the plant? What does that mean for the subject matter of what we were just discussing? Well, that means knowing that, in this case, we're talking about an orchid, and knowing what it needs, and then giving it what it needs, and helping it with what it needs, because only you have the ability to help it um, to thrive when it's out of its element. They're not native to, Montana. Orchids are not native to Montana. So, so you have to build an environment that will suit that plant if you want that plant around. And of course, as I sat and I thought about that, I thought that's also what relationships take. If you want a specific relationship, you have to build the environment for that relationship. And that's love. And that's true love, because you're learning what that relationship needs to thrive. You're learning what that relationship requires to survive, not only thrive, but to even just survive. And so, of course, I don't want to talk too much about narcissists today, but realizing that narcissists are actually incapable of love because they won't help establish an environment to keep what they wanted or what they agreed to bring about. They want that orchid, but they just want to set it on the counter, and when it dies, it dies. Let's go get another one from the store. And so that's a narc. They don't want to keep that one alive. They don't want to help build the environment that orchid needs to survive. And so that's kind of where I realized that if you're going to find someone who is if you're going to enter into a relationship with someone, you got to find someone who is willing to develop or learn the discipline and the environment in which you need to thrive as well. And they need to be willing um, to supply that environment um, in order to make that relationship thrive. And if you are fortunate enough to have two individuals that come together that are of the same nature, then you will find that they are both watering each other, that they are both loving each other, they are both having empathy and compassion and building the environment around each other to where they can both thrive. So, what is love? Is it an action word? Does it have physical attributes to it? Um, well, to be honest with you, um, you have to physically do something. You have to physically um, provide something. So it does have physical attributes. Um, it's not just a word. It's not just a um, how would you want to describe that? Not just an empty feeling, an empty space between conversational pieces. And same thing with peace. How is it in my younger years I was chasing peace and yet I never got peace? I had a very bad childhood, so I wanted to build peace in my life. I wanted to build a happy home to have children in, a peaceful home. So how is it um, that you can chase that and but still end up, like in my case with a narcissist? How is it that peace did not come about, even though that's what she was looking for? Well, um, peace is an action word, and it has physical attributes. peace requires discipline, patience. Um, and if you are not patient and you are not disciplined, then you won't ever find that the physical attributes that come with peace. And of course I realized that when I was in my 20s when I met my ex, I wasn't patient. I wanted to hurry it up and start my family because I knew that I wanted my future wife to be older than me. I knew I wanted her to be um, to be significantly older than me. I wanted her to be a quote unquote God fearing woman. And so when I realized that, then I realized that I I was pursuing it so much that I was overlooking everything else, all the obvious signs. And so because of that, the attributes of peace did not develop um, because the physical discipline and the physical restraint and the physical was not met during that time frame. And um, so yes, every word that we speak is an action word, but it's also comes with physical attributes. It comes with um, um, a physical presence, a tangible presence in which we can touch and which we can or not touch, in which we have to learn to adhere to as well as follow through with, and and then that way the peace will be allowed to manifest. It will be allowed to come about. And the same thing goes for any type of word, even if it's a cuss word. When you look at a cuss word, when you get angry about something, there's physical attributes that either follow or that preceded that cuss word, and so that those physical attributes are are they brought about um, through someone else's defense, or are they brought about through their own eyes? I was reading a book um, today, and I liked the some of what the gentleman said in the book. I'm not going to name the book here because there was a lot that I didn't like. But one of the things that he repeatedly said through the book was, and then you'll see the world as I see it. And that's a problem because how can we as individuals see the world through someone else's eyes? Um, there will be no one in this world who can see this world through my eyes. There is no one that is at the level of ascension that I am at in this world. They might be close, but they can never see certain things, or maybe they see more than me. And so to say to someone that they will begin to see things as, as I would, as I do, um, is an error, especially given that it was a healing book. It was supposed to be of a healing nature. And so the world looks different for everyone. Every physical attribute of the world is different. Every spiritual, um, every aspect of the world is different from one person to the next. And so that's where it's easy to fall in line, fall into a book, not fall in line, but it's easy to read a book and fall in love with everything about the book if you're not paying close attention. And and so when you're seeking answers, and so when you're trying to find love, and when you're trying to find peace, and when you're trying to find all these things in your life, then you if you read one book and you fall in love with it, as per se, you tend to copy it, you tend to mimic it, you tend to um, attribute physical attributes to the book, or a person. Doesn't have to be a book. You can like someone and you can follow suit after them. And then pretty soon, the problem is you're trying to make sense of what they're saying, but you're not on the same level as them. And pretty soon, you're taking everything that they're saying and and holding that in high regards. And you can't do that because you can't follow through with everything. Everything that that person has lived and experienced and has done is not something that you can do at all. Um, you can't you can't marry the same woman as that guy, right? And and so it's it's something that I look back on in my younger years, and I can see how that was an issue for me as well. And what I mean by that is, I haven't spoken to my biological father in 20 years, and I will spend the rest of my life not speaking to him. I don't have anything to say to him. And so every once in a while, I want a father connection. I want to be able to look at another man and have him replace my dad, if that makes sense. And then, of course, I realize there's aspects of that individual that I don't like or that I don't want in my life. And so it becomes difficult, and it becomes something that is not possible, or it adds confusion. And once it starts adding confusion, then you start getting confused as an individual. And so that's why it's extremely important um, to be well rounded with your surroundings, with the individuals around you, um, to make an accommodating atmosphere, using the orchid as an example, um, for people that are around you. But then also having the discipline to say, but I am my own individual. There is no man or woman that can help me. There's no man or woman that can do anything for me, other than, you know, you can help someone, yes. Um, you can sit with them and help them read a book, same as a child. You could sit and read a book with a child to help them elevate their consciousness and to elevate their ascension process. So yes, there is stuff that you can do, um, but don't take that person and hold them in absolute. And and I can reflect back and see how I did that with several individuals myself. And then of course, like I said, you get confused because there's certain things that you're conflicted with. Instead of me having the discipline to say, to myself, these are just people. It just is. Um, there is no absolute. There is no, they just are. They just are people. And so yeah, so it's words hold meaning, um, and they hold power, and they hold physical attributes. And we should not, um, instead of searching for the meaning of love, we already know the meaning of love. It's the first answer that comes to mind when when we are asked a question and we can provide the answer immediately without having to think about it. And so with that being said, there's there's hope. Um, there's hope as long as we are meditating on the ascension, meditating on where we are going from here, trying to make this world that we live in a better place, make everything around us better. And you know, I'm I'm the same way. I can't I can't go to an animal shelter. Definitely can't go to an animal shelter. And it's even difficult to go to Lowe's because I see all these plants sitting on the shelf like merchandise. And so as me, I feel the plant's pain. I feel what the plant is going through, like it's a commodity. And and of course, then all I want to do is buy them up to give them someplace free to be, to give them a loving atmosphere, to give them a home. And so that's where we need to be focusing is more on feeling, um, more on what others need, and going beyond just saying others and thinking about what is an other. An other is also a plant. An other can be a rock. Um, a rock is also alive. It's also got energies within it. And so, without over analyzing it, we don't want to sit and, make that our focus. But why not? If we have the time, why aren't we why aren't we sitting and thinking, why aren't we trying to reach out and feel another plant or another being's feelings, trying to help understand them, and build an atmosphere in which they are happy and thriving in. Yeah, I think that's important. Well, that's my show for today, folks. Sorry I don't have much more to talk about. But still trying to get another show on, and still trying to up my shows every week. But that's also another side effect of ascension is it gets harder to find words to describe what you feel, because you're no longer operating at a lower language. You're no longer operating at a baser language. You're graduating through college level languages, and so then it gets harder to identify with words what you know. And that's where like I said, even speaking to that lady at Lowe's the other day, the first answer that came to mind was one word. And of course that one word is the correct word if everyone knows how to use that word properly. And a lot of people don't, unfortunately. A lot of people don't know how to use most words properly. So anyway, that's my show for today. Thank you all for joining. As always, please visit my website. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to raise awareness, people. I'm trying to get the word out there. So please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Visit my website, www.etuw.org. Thank you and have a wonderful day.